St. Peter the Apostle Parish. Welcome to St. Peter the Apostle Parish, and see its value and its significance as it is named after St. Peter, who was the most influential of all the apostles chosen by Christ. The entire parish is a lovely community formed to be disciples of Christ, with St. Peter as their inspiration and intercessor. We know of St. Peter as the fisherman, the recipient of the keys towards the kingdom, the one who denied Christ 3 times, but later regained his place and confidence among the apostles after the resurrection. He was one of the earliest witnesses of the risen Christ and the leader of the early church in Jerusalem on Pentecost. St. Peter the Apostle Parish also draws its origin from the spirit and the inspiration of the inception of the Chinese apostolate in the Philippines, which was pioneered by Bishop Domingo de Salazar, who became the first bishop of Manila on February 6, 1579. While acknowledging the Augustinians as the first missionaries in the Philippines, we also affirm the huge efforts done by Bishop Domingo de Salazar that led to the foundation of the Binondo Church in 1596 through the initial efforts of the Dominican missionaries to evangelize the Chinese in 1587. In Binondo, the Church of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary became the center of ecclesial activities and evangelization among the Chinese, while Santa Cruz and Tondo became prominent centers of Chinese business activity later, which was called the Parian. All throughout the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, the evangelization among the Chinese in the Philippines did not lose its vision. In fact, the church in Binondo was named after the patronage of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary in 1751. In many occasions over the centuries, the Binondo Church was destroyed by earthquakes and wars. Yet in 1924, Archbishop Michael O'Doherty re-established the importance of the church for the evangelization of the Chinese. Thus, in the 20th century, the Chinese apostolate progressed more in its focus and development. In 1954, aside from the Binondo Church that was established for the evangelization of the Filipino Chinese in the Philippines, 3 new parishes were established for the same purpose of evangelization, namely St. Peter the Apostle Parish in Paco, Mary the Queen Parish in San Juan, and St. Jude Tadeus Parish in San Miguel, Manila. Looking at its historical antecedents, St. Peter the Apostle Parish underwent its evangelization in 3 phases. The first phase, St. Peter the Apostle Parish under the CICM missionaries. St. Peter the Apostle Parish began as a personal parish and was under the pastoral care of the CICM missionaries. The pioneering work of the CICM missionaries laid the foundations of the church. The church was established on September 20, 1954 through the initiative and ingenuity of Father Luis Fosion, CICM, who was doing mission earlier in China. At that time, he also organized the Paco Catholic Chinese Association as an initial step towards a wider thrust of evangelization among the Filipino Chinese. he began to build a chapel to celebrate the sacraments until a land was utilized to build a church on October 22, 1958. The second phase, St. Peter the Apostle Parish under the mainland Chinese priests. In 1963, it was through Father Dominic Guo that the permanent location of the parish church was facilitated. In 1971, after Father Jacques Musen CICM returned to Belgium due to illness, he was immediately succeeded by Father Francis Libir CICM, who would be the last CICM missionary to work as parish priest. In 1972, henceforth, Chinese priests finally succeeded the CICM missionaries as administrators of the parish, which signaled the beginning of a new phase of the parish mission towards the Filipino-Chinese. Father Joseph Liu became the acting parish priest from 1972 to 1974. And in 1974, Father Vincent Liu was appointed parish priest by Jaime Cardinal Sin, Archbishop of Manila at that time. On August 1, 1981, the same cardinal appointed Monsignor Francis Chin to be the parish priest with Father Stanislaus Chin and Father Thomas Chow as parochial vicars. It was on August 25, 1986 that a new development transpired in the parish. It became a territorial parish that stretched out its jurisdiction toward the other basic ecclesial communities like Cristobal Chapel, Sansianco Chapel, Mendoza Chapel, and Mindiola Chapel. The expansion of St. Peter the Apostle Parish was a remarkable development for mission and pastoral work for both the Filipino-Chinese and Filipino communities. The third phase, St. Peter the Apostle Parish under the Lorenzo Ruiz Mission Society. With the vision of Jaime Cardinal Sin to foster more pastoral services to the Filipino-Chinese parishes, schools, and communities in the Archdiocese of Manila, the Lorenzo Ruiz Mission Society was founded. The society began to take care of the pastoral and ecclesial life of St. Peter the Apostle Parish beginning in 2004 when Father Emmanuel Regalado LRMS was appointed parish priest by the Cardinal. Other parish priests were also appointed after each term in the past years, and they were Father Johnny Molina LRMS, Father Domingo Deo Farnacio LRMS, Monsignor Nolique LRMS, Father Juner Salugsugan LRMS, and other LRMS priests. St. Peter the Apostle Parish will always be faithful to the mission of the Church. It strives to fulfill and respond to what the Second Plenary Council of the Philippines number 109 expects and says. And here in our own land is a vast field of mission related to the Filipino-Chinese apostolate. Less than 20% of the Chinese in the Philippines have had some effective evangelization. The progress made in evangelizing through the educational and pastoral work of the Filipino-Chinese apostolate is a great encouragement. We need to intensify this. Today, St. Peter the Apostle Parish becomes the living sign of the ardor and generosity of missionaries. It is the fruit of the hard work of great laborers of the Lord's vineyard, both in the past and of the present, of the religious, of the clergy and of the laity alike. Yet it looks forward to the future, where the gracious Lord will lead to His kingdom all those who had been part of the parish in the past, those who are now here in the present, and those whom He will call to be part of the parish in the future. Long live St. Peter the Apostle Parish!